got a lot of young players competing for time in the secondary. How's that going so far?
Oh, it's going really well. Those guys are doing a good job. They did a heck of a job over the summer. Coach Sleeve really did a good job with those guys, getting them in shape. Some of those guys put on some good weight, some good speed, and they really dove into the playbook, which is good. So that means competition is high. Guys know they can't take a day off at all, and we really like that. We really enjoy that. So that's really bringing out the best in a lot of those young guys, and it's fun to see for the first couple of days that we had.
Was there, is there anybody who's kind of stuck out to you, maybe surprised you, who's stepping into a leadership role?
I don't see any surprises in that. The guys that we kind of saw in the spring doing it, Lyric's doing a good job with that. We got some linebackers who are stepping up because we got a couple of seniors, even those transfers, are doing a good job there. When you talk about Sip, when you talk about Bagley, those guys are doing a really good job. And then naturally up front, we got some guys who really play some snaps here for us at KU, so they're also doing a good job of leadership. But I'm really not surprised. I know those guys had it in it, and it was our job as coaches to bring it out and foster and then praise it when we see it.
What's impressed you most with Justice in the way that he's grown into a leadership role?
Once again, I think he's one of those guys who had, leadership abilities. And I think when guys first get here, they're just trying to find their way on how to learn the defense, learn the culture, different things like that. And I think once when he became comfortable with our culture, with the defense, naturally his leadership qualities begin to come out. And he's done a good job. He's really brought some guys along with him. And I really hope he leaves his place playing his best football and leaves his place better than he found it.
What have you seen in recent months from Taylor Davis? And what do you hope for his season?
Yeah, Taylor's he's like a lot of our guys. He got a couple snaps last year, which was good, which gave him confidence. I think at some point, every young guy gets on the field and they got to get that moment where they realize, hey, I can play college football. And I think that moment happened for him at BYU. And then he's just been growing from there and, continue to learn the defense. And now, he's getting to that point like a lot of guys, showing some leadership and bringing some guys along with him. And then, two, it goes back to our original statement that there's a lot of competition in that room. So a spot's not given to him. He had to work every day. And he's grinding and working and rotating in and out. And we're going to see who wins that safety position.
What's it been like having Mason Ellis back healthy, and what have you seen from him?
Yeah, Mason's one of those guys who are competing in the safety spot. He's one of the guys who are challenging. And, Mason's one of the, physically gifted guys that we have, on our defense. And it's good that he's healthy because now he can show that speed, he can show that strength. And plus, he's a very intelligent young man. So to have him and to keep him healthy, it's just going to be a huge benefit for our defense, going to give us a lot of depth. And, who knows, can give us a starter out there at a couple different positions.
You say a couple different positions. Who's working at that kind of nickel spot?
Oh, we got quite a few guys working at that nickel right now. Once again, it's one of those positions in the back end. We're looking to find a guy. I know Marvin Grant played that for us last year. And so now we got some guys. The good thing about it, I think we got a handful of guys who can play that spot. We can move them around. So if we do, something happens, we get an injury, man, we got some couple other guys who can step in and play at a high role too, which I'm really excited about for this year.
What was it that made you want to bring Saeed in the summer?
Just looking at his film, looking to get another guy. I think all along we were thinking to bring in another DB to help us out. And so just seeing his film, bringing him in, seeing what type of person he is. And then he's even been better than what we thought, just with his skill level, his communication. He's another guy you talk about. He has some leadership abilities. And now that he's just like Justice, that he's learning the defense, learning the culture, you can see him with those leadership abilities really starting to come out, which is great.
How different is it to coach this DB room that's younger, has some new faces compared to what it was last year?
It's fun. Every year is fun. Every year is different. No year has ever been the same in all my years of coaching. So it's good. You're just teaching, you're encouraging, you're challenging. And our job is to teach, critique, and demand. And that's what we're doing. And that doesn't change for me year to year at all. I miss those guys who were there, but I love the legacy that they left in the room. And you can see just little shadows of what they taught those guys starting to come through. And that's really fun to see, too. And I'm excited for what those guys are doing at their next level. And I'm excited to see what they pass down to this group that's doing a great job in these first couple practices.
What kind of progress? Kind of a logistical question, but do you think you would call plays up in the box or down on?
We're still working through that just with the staff. So wherever I call them, we're going to be calling them, we're going to be going, and we're going to try to play fast, physical, and for each other.
What kind of progress have you seen with the linebacker room?
Just like all the guys, it's great progress because, like I said, and I think it's been a theme throughout this whole thing, there's competition. So competition brings out the best of you. I don't care what you do in life. You're going to have to compete. And when you compete, we're going to see who's who. We all compete. And that's what it's about, man. And competition brings out the best in all of us. And that's what it's doing for the linebacker room, for even the guys up front, that we got a lot of guys back. But, heck, they know, man, we got to compete every day. And Coach Panagos is moving those guys around. Coach O's moving those guys around. And then it's the same with the linebacker. You know, if you come out and you have a bad day, you're going to be on the second or third team. And that's just how it is. And so guys know they got to step up. They got to take care of their bodies. They got to take care of their minds. They got to ask questions. They got to do all those things, which is very important. I think every program needs that.
You mentioned Panagos. You basically have at least 6 legitimate guys at defensive tackle, which rotates. So, how valuable is that depth at a position like that?
I think it's valuable at every position, but especially for those big guys, because they probably can't play 70 plays a game. So that's the position you're really going to rotate guys. And then bring guys in that the level is not going to drop off. And for some of those guys, it might even go up a level because they're fresh. It's really important. And just for what we're going to be doing, you need that, because you need the big guys up front to stop the run, because people can't run through our defense, and they're the engine of what we do. And so I'm happy we got that many guys. And even with some young guys, we're starting to add even more depth. So I'm excited to see what happens with that.
The size that you get from Alex Bray, how valuable can that be, and what kind of role can he play on the D-line?
It's very valuable, and more than anything, it's valuable that he's played college football at a high level and was productive. And so you're able to move him around in a couple different packages that we do have. You're able to move him around and let him do some things that he's really good at. And he's an athletic young man. He's a smart young man. But most importantly, man, he loves the game of football. And so I'm so glad we got Alex Bray here, and just the things that he's bringing to leadership. And he's really rose the level of that room, and that's what we needed.
DK, you come from multiple backgrounds of different formations and defenses. Do you mix that in with what they use and be able to give people different looks?
I think that's football nowadays. That you got to be multiple. Just to sit in one thing and expect to stop these great offenses that are in the Big 12, I think is going to be really difficult. So I think you got to be multiple in what you do. You got to use different packages. You got to have different fronts. You got to mix in some coverages, not to the point where it's extremely difficult, but it looks difficult to the offense, but it's simple to us. And that's what it has to be. And so that's what I hope that you see, is that, there is a couple different things that going on, but to us, it's just simple things that we're just moving guys in different pieces. At the end of the days, it's all X's and O's, and guys got to know the concepts of the defense and not just their little X in the defense. But there will be multiple things that we'll be doing to try to attack offenses.
Is there anybody who sticks out above the rest, who is able to retain encapsulating the entire defense?
There's some guys, I always challenge the guys this, it when you can teach it. And so I think if you were in some of our meeting rooms, you would have some guys who could get up and teach our defense. And so we do got some guys who are learning. We do got some guys who are coaching other guys. We got older guys who are coaching younger guys. If you come and watch film with us, you're going to see that. Our guys talk, they communicate, they're loud, because that's demanding in our defense. A great defense talks, a great defense communicates. So I hope when you see us, that's what we're doing on the field, practice. Man, we're communicating our butts off, man. We're going to keep encouraging and challenge our guys to do that. But I'm excited that guys over the summer, they dove into the playbook, and they came back and they were ready to roll. So you can tell these guys are hungry, and now we got to keep fostering that as coaches.
How do you find that balance between simple for you guys but complicated for others to figure out?
I think you got to continue to depend on guys. I've been fortunate to be around a lot of good coaches in my career, just to see how it was done. And so I just think you got to continue to see it engage your guys. I'm in every meeting. I'm able to see what we do. I'm looking at the film. I know what we can do as a defense. And so you just continue to do it. And like I said, too, it's not like we're doing a whole bunch of different things. We just might have some people in different spots that are doing it. And I think that can also put some confusion in different things that's going on. So, like I said, it's a lot of different scheme things that we're trying to do, and trying to confuse the quarterback, attack the offensive line, and get after those receivers.
DK, when you're recruiting and you bring guys in and they see the facilities and upgrades, how has that helped you?
It always helps. Anything new and pretty is always exciting. And, we have that right now. A lot of these have this new car smell still on them, except for my office. They didn't do anything to that. But, I think that's really exciting. It was fun to see, our commits come and see it and how wide-eyed they got. It's exciting when we first revealed the new team room and those guys walked in. They got their phones all over the place. So it's really helped a lot in recruiting because a lot of those guys that we recruited, they were here when we were still over at Rock Chalk Park, you know, and then we're showing them pictures of what it is. So it's kind of fun to see all this kind of come to fruition and that now they see the turf being laid down. They're seeing where we're going to be eating at, you know, seeing all that, and they're excited, they're fired up, and I think that's really helped us a lot in recruiting. I think it's kind of put some wind in ourselves too for the people who are here in this program.
Since we're talking to Landon Nelson today for the first time, just what kind of presence does he provide as like a locker room guy in the summer and stuff like that?
He's been great. Landon's been great. He was great last year when I was here. You know, he was a voice. You know, he dealt with some injuries too. You know, which always kind of stops that a little bit. But over the summer, he's been tremendous with everything he does. And you know, we talked about guys who can teach and know the offense from front to defense from front to back. He's one of those guys. You know, he knows it. He knows everybody's spot. You know, we can throw him at safety, nickel. It doesn't matter. Heck, if we needed to, he can try to rush the passer. You know, and so I appreciate him. I appreciate everything he brings. And most of all, I just appreciate how selfless he is. I mean, that's special in this day and age for a guy who will sacrifice everything for his teammates. And that's one thing I really love about Landon.